Praise JJ!
Hello everyone and welcome to Anime Club After Dark, the podcast that delves into all things anime, manga, and otaku culture related. I'm your host Alex, but you can call me Senpai, and join me tonight, I only have our poser extraordinaire Nitai. Say hello, Nitai.
It's JJ style!
Oh my god, yes! I can't believe you did that.
Mamoru
That's
Miyano
actually
is
really
a god,
good.
I'm sorry.
Oh man. So thank you all for joining us tonight. That was great. I was not expecting that. So before we actually get into what we're actually going to be talking about tonight, I do want to say that our spring division of our Best Boy and Best Girl contest is over. I want to say congratulations to Guts from Berserk and Akko from Little Witch Academia. They both won Best Boy and Best Girl respectively, and they will be going on to the Group A final at the end of the year, where they will be facing off against their respective Winter Division final winners. So be looking forward to that on our website, and thank you all who went ahead and voted on our website for that. But going into tonight's topic, we're going to talk about, me and Nitai are going to talk about something that's happened recently that, well, unless you've lived under a rock, you know a lot about already. You probably know about as much as we do, and that is the Sony's acquisition of Funimation.
Mm-hmm.
So to kind of put a little bit of a newsy spin on this, back in, I think it was May of this year, Universal and Sony both expressed an interest in buying Funimation outright. Somewhere between then and now, or when it was announced, Universal just kind of lost interest and dropped out. Sony did not, and about a month ago, as of the time of this recording, Sony has agreed to purchase a majority stake, a majority being 95% of Funimation at the tune of $143 million US.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty close to what the company is actually valued at. The company is valued at roughly $150 million US, so that's actually a pretty good deal on the part of Funimation to get that much out of Sony.
Yeah.
There's very little that we know at this point as of the time of this recording. One of the things we do know is that, at least for the time being, Gen Fukunaga, the founder and CEO of Funimation, will remain at his current post. And he also retains a 5% minority stake in his company.
That's abysmal.
Yeah, I mean, 5%, woo, right? And that's really all that we know, pretty much. I mean, it's worth mentioning that it's only been, 3.5, 4 weeks since this was even announced. So there's not a whole lot that we know publicly yet. There is a couple of things that are going to happen, at least on the U.S. side of things. This deal has to be approved by both the Department of Justice and the Federal Trade Commission to make sure it doesn't violate any antitrust laws. Which, I mean, I don't foresee it not going through. The only reason it wouldn't is if the United States government, for some reason, thought that it created some kind of monopoly in the anime industry, and I don't see that being the case here.
Yeah.
Other than that, there's very little that we know.
Yeah,
unless you have anything else, Nitai.
Yeah, we should preface this by saying most of this is going to be a lot of speculating, because we do know so little about it. But I think what's there so far could lead to some interesting discussion. So this should be fun. This should be real.
This should be fun. I do want to say that one of the things that I think, or at least I personally find most interesting about this, is that how quick it all happened. It was only like 3 months. Usually, businesses when they say they have an interest in buying a company, it's usually a year to 2 years later when they finally make the decision. Sony seemed to make this decision in less than 6 months.
Yeah, this is. I wonder what this means also, like how little time it took for this to actually happen. I mean, for all we know, this could have been in their works for a long time, but in terms of public knowledge of this, it's I don't know what this means, but it could
Yeah.
be just Sony. Like the big takeaway, I think we shall like take from this is that maybe this is Sony trying to be a part of the anime game, like just like Amazon and Netflix. Maybe they're trying
Yeah.
to be big players, and by purchasing Funimation, this could be it. I don't know. I'm really not sure what this means, though. This like such a short notice of okay, they announced their interest, and now it's actually happening. But it could be this. Who knows?
Yeah, it's also worth mentioning that Sony is a Japanese company based in Japan. They internationally at least they run a network called Animax, which is almost entirely anime focused. But in a lot of places, that's been completely phased out or integrated into some other things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they do, I believe, have a minority stake in Aniplex. I don't know exactly to what extent they have a stake in it. I think I read it a long time ago. I think it's 15 to 20%.
That's kind of big.
But this actually, in my view, this offers a really good opportunity
Mm.
for Funimation to actually be involved with more of a production side of anime at the source.
Yeah, this could be just what Funimation needs to be in like just a better place in general in terms of their business side. Unfortunately, I tried to look for their profit over the last few years, Funimation's profit, and I couldn't really find anything. So I don't know if they're doing better in the last few years or actually not doing so great. So that's like a big factor that I just don't have any knowledge of like what's up with that, but. I think this could lead to just better overall support for them because this business is tough, especially now that Amazon and Netflix are just getting a lot of shows because they have these
Yep.
huge ass pockets. Maybe being a part of Sony could help them, could help Funimation a lot, but also it
Well,
could
it's
mean that,
it's
huh?
it's worth mentioning that Sony has some pretty deep pockets itself.
Yeah, that's true because it's a huge ass company. I mean, their gaming division and you say what was the other division you mentioned to me before we start recording?
Their semiconductor business makes them a lot of money.
Yeah, so these two divisions make them a lot of money, but we should not forget that they're like especially movie division, they lose a lot of money on that one. That one's not doing so
Yeah.
well.
Well, actually, I actually went online and I looked it up. According to an article I found in Variety,
Hmm.
Sony Pictures lost almost $800 million last year.
Wow.
Lost Sony $800 million. That's almost $1 billion. Um, and you can, and lately Sony's theatrical stuff has been just bombing crazy. Like the Ghostbusters movie last year flopped like a fish in the Gobi Desert. They had the was it the Emoji movie that just came out last
Oh
month,
God.
and that was a huge flop. You just name it. A lot of stuff with Sony Pictures, at least the theatrical side of it, has not been making any kind of money for Sony.
And that's without
Um,
mentioning their like, let's say their reception in terms of how the general masses think of them. Because I mean, you have like the Spider-Man movies that didn't generate a whole lot of good critics for Sony. So it's not like people like them so much, the picture division. But
yeah,
yeah, who knows? I mean, this could be what they need just to stabilize a bit. Because people are
yeah.
willing to, like, Funimation has a big following, even though we all like to shit on it for its major flaws, at least like the video player and the site itself. And also, it's not available in my country, so yeah, okay.
That's actually something I was going to mention, but since you brought it up, I'll go ahead and mention it now. See, I speak from someone who lives in North America, in the United States, and I have access to just about everything because this is a U.S. based company.
Hmm.
Outside of North America, especially in the Middle East and well, not necessarily in Asia, but Africa and the Middle East and parts of Europe, a lot of countries don't really have a whole lot of access, if any,
Hmm.
to Funimation. But they do have access to stuff like Sony Pictures and Sony Pictures Television stuff. I think with this deal, it'll make Funimation products more readily available in those countries because they already have a distribution net in place.
Yeah, I mean, these past few seasons, there's like this big issue of having services like Netflix and Amazon who aren't available in some countries just take a lot of really big shows, and you end up
Yeah.
with people that and I just think that if Funimation gets that network that you mentioned and is more readily available in more countries and is just more convenient to use, that could give it a major boost. I know that if Funimation would work in my country and the video player wouldn't be shit, I wouldn't be paying for it because yeah, like because think about it. The reason people use Crunchyroll, for example, is also because it's super convenient. It's just such a convenient service to use. That's pretty much it. If Funimation could get to that level of convenience and be available for more people, it could I think it could be in a much better place in terms of its profits.
Yeah. You mentioned their streaming player, which has never been great
Yeah.
and has struggled to actually be good.
Hmm.
It's getting better. I will give them that. One thing that this Sony Pictures deal has going for it is Sony owns a streaming service called Crackle.
Mm.
It's kind of an also ran type of streaming service, whereas I mean it's not really mentioned a whole lot, but they do run it and it does work. I've used it myself. It's a very stable platform. It's very easy to navigate. It's available on a whole bunch of different devices, mobile, game consoles, desktop, you name it. I have a
Crackle.
feeling that with this deal, you're gonna see Funimation now, kind of their online player, go away and be integrated into Crackle. That's my theory.
Yeah, that could be it. Because one of the bigger purchases by Sony is Gaikai. A few years back, Sony purchased Gaikai for less than $400 million, and some people kind of scratch their heads, what's that about? But then they introduced PlayStation Now, which, say what you will about the service, is a big deal. Streaming games that aren't on native to the console. So who knows? This could if we this could mean that Funimation could be implemented into their other stuff. Maybe it's just a more dynamic implementation to consoles or better distribution of anime. Who knows? This maybe could lead to some Blu-rays and stuff. Maybe.
Yeah. The distribution side stands, and I think to gain the most from this.
Mhm.
With Sony Pictures, you also have access to Sony Pictures Classics, which operates a distribution arm with theaters. Now, Funimation over the last couple years has been really big on getting licensing rights to anime movies and then showing them off in
Mm.
theaters. That's something that they could definitely use Sony Pictures Classics for to get into more theaters and more countries.
Yeah, think about what if. Oh, that's interesting. What if this happened before and Funimation dubbed Your Name, and maybe Your Name was more distributed in even wider, maybe even internationally, because they have the
Yeah.
infrastructure of Sony.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Or what if it had only what if it had been available in theaters in the US and around the world maybe a few weeks after it premiered in Japan
Yeah,
instead of a few months?
this could be big for anime movies in the
Yeah.
West.
I think you might see some more of that going forward with Funimation getting anime movie licenses.
Mm.
I definitely look for that. I personally I find that more exciting than just about anything else because, as someone who's been watching the anime industry for a long time and kind of been in and around it, I think that right now, at least at the point we're at, anime is so close. It's on the cusp of being mainstream that you can almost reach out and touch it.
Mm.
And I think if more anime could get into more theaters and in more homes, and it could get there. Anime could be like as ubiquitous as Disney.
Mm. I mean, it
That's
could.
that's my feeling about it.
Yeah, it could. And now that I think about it, we're kind of positive about this whole ordeal. But a part of me, it's that asshole skeptic part of me. Yeah, for some reason, I'm not 100% on board with this purchase. I don't know why. Maybe it's that, again, maybe I'm just being skeptic for the sake of it. But the CEO, what was his name? Uh,
uh, God, I can never remember his last name. Uh,
Wait, let me pull it
God
up.
damn it! I can never remember his last name. Why? Um,
Gen Fukunaga?
fucking
Yeah,
Fukunaga.
sorry.
Fukunaga. Thank
So
you.
yeah, Gen Fukunaga. I mean, he's going. You mentioned it, but he has only 5% stakes at the company. There's a good chance he's going to step down, which means Sony is going to have even more control over
Yeah,
Funimation.
I don't see him staying CEO for more than a year, maybe two,
Yeah,
after this deal goes through. I think he'll either resign or he'll be forced out.
yeah. So it's like, who knows what that means for the company? But more than that, I mean, not too long ago there was the Funimation and Crunchyroll deal, and
That's
there's a
that's true, and I have a theory about that too.
go ahead.
I don't know how many people know this, but a lot of what was done, actually almost everything about that deal is done on a contract basis, which means these contracts are worked out weeks, months in advance. So right now, I know that there's a bunch of stuff in the works with this partnership for the fall 2017 season. I do believe that there are at least one or two shows that have already been contracted between the two of them for the winter 2018 season.
Mm.
But once this deal is finalized and approved, I think that the marriage between Funimation and Crunchyroll is over.
Yeah,
Effectively.
which is gonna be
Except
quite
for the
sad,
stuff
I
that they're
gotta
still
say.
contracted for, and when those contracts run out, they're going to be back in the exclusive hands of whoever had them in the first place.
That's kind of depressing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been nice for both companies. It's worked out definitely in their favor because Funimation has a really big catalog of, especially older shows,
Hmm.
that you just can't find anywhere else, and they're finding their way onto Crunchyroll, and of course their player is a lot better, especially their mobile player is a lot better than Funimation's ever was. And so it's been nice, especially for me who likes going back and watching older stuff, to go back on Crunchyroll and watch those older shows.
Yeah, that deal was just like such a welcome just change because it felt like it was actually made for the sake of the consumer, which is
Hmm.
always something good because that's what this is all about, just being better for for consumers generally. And I'm just kind of sad to see because it's gonna go, which sucks. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Um, on the other hand, I've also been thinking about this over the last couple days as well. This opens the door perhaps for another company to come in and buy Crunchyroll, say like 20th Century Fox.
That's worrying me actually.
I don't know. My biggest thing about this, and I feel that with this deal, there's far more positives that could come from it than negatives. But I do think there's definitely going to be some growing pains, especially at the start.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Is distribution. Distribution, I think, is the biggest thing.
Hmm.
With more money comes more availability. And like when you have Sony, you have the ability to put stuff in theaters, and you have Sony's like physical media distribution,
Hmm.
which is huge. I mean, it does make them money, and they're pretty good about getting stuff out in a timely manner and for relatively cheap. So, and that's something that Funimation's been doing for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, people poo-poo Funimation for all of its, not being on board with the digital age of having stuff streaming all the time. But one place they excel at is getting stuff out the door with physical media releases and getting them out very quickly and very cheaply.
Hmm. Yeah, this could be really big for Funimation in terms of their distribution side for sure.
Yeah.
Which,
Like,
if it's
I
actually
don't
good, then yeah, this could actually be a really welcome change.
I don't know how widely available is like digital media in Israel.
In terms of like anime,
Yeah,
not
like Blu-rays and DVDs.
um, you let's say it's like they're like if I would go into a store like a movie store and search through the DVDs and Blu-rays, the closest thing to anime you'll see is a lot of Ghibli collection,
Ah,
mostly that. And when it comes to like that's like physical media, and when it comes to digital, yeah, like Funimation isn't available almost like at all. Even when I use a VPN, it's the player just it dies. I remember
yeah.
trying to watch Psychopaths, the dub on Funimation, using VPN. It just wouldn't work at all. So I was like, okay, fuck this. But Crunchyroll also, like, Crunchyroll, not all of its library is available in Israel, but that can be fixed with VPN, which doesn't really hurt the player too much.
Yeah.
So that works. But it's not like Israel is a powerhouse place for buying anime, both physically and digitally. Like, I told you, but when one of my buddies, he came back from England not too long ago, and he got me a copy of Bakano for Blu-ray. I was like, oh shit, that's awesome, because there was no way I could ever find that in Israel, like no way. So yeah, it's not like this. My country is a big place where you can find anime easily, but hopefully, like at least digitally, hopefully this means that Funimation can get more to more places around the world.
I hope so. That's my biggest hope for this deal is that it's available to more people in more places. I mean, this is something that's definitely what we need to talk about on a different episode. But I mean, that's one of the big things I have with Netflix and Amazon. I think that they have the ability, because of their deep pockets, to be distributed around the world, whereas you have Funimation and, to a smaller extent, Crunchyroll, being limited by the fact that they're just not as big. They don't have the funds to spread out as much. But Sony does, and that's one of the things that I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens with this. And I think at first, I think it's going to be really difficult for fans to take, because there's going to be some stuff going away. It's been around forever, and people will go, why? But I think in the long run, it's going to be great for fans because they have more access.
Hopefully, yeah, I really want this to actually work in Funimation's favor and the consumer's favor. Because this could be really big. But then again, it could be just like, it happens and then it's all business as usual and nothing changes for good.
As they say, the more things change, the more they stay the same, right?
Yeah. Like, who knows?
I will say that there's one other thing that actually there's a couple other things, but there's definitely one thing we haven't touched on yet. But you mentioned it a second ago, and I do want to talk about it, and that's dubs, because that's something else that Funimation is known for, producing really high quality dubs, especially lately. I don't think you're going to see a whole bunch of change for that. In fact, I think you'll actually see Funimation get more business through their dubbing department, because Sony doesn't have a dedicated dubbing department. They always outsource anything that they dub.
Really?
Yeah. So I think you actually might see a really big increase in the amount of dubs being produced, not just for anime, but for other things as well.
You reckon this means they'll gain access to even, like, either newer or just more actors than just Johnny Young Bosch and whatever Aaron's dubs?
What's wrong with Johnny Young Bosch?
And Bryce
What the fuck is wrong
Paperbrook.
with Johnny Young Bosch? Isaiah is perfect. Shut up.
I mean, Lelouch is like one of my favorite characters. I know.
That's also something that's definitely worth mentioning. Voice actors, well, specifically anime voice actors, I'm pretty sure are not part of the Screen Actors Guild, which is the big Hollywood union for actors and voice actors as well. That might get Sony into some trouble, because being a Hollywood studio, you're kind of required to only use union members for talent. So I think one of two things is going to happen with that. Either they're going to completely think of it separately. It will have nothing to do with Hollywood whatsoever. So it will continue to allow these voice actors to not have to be unionized by the SAG. Or these voice actors like Vic Mignogna, like Johnny Young Bosch, they will become Screen Actor Guild union members. And if they do that, I think that opens the door for them to actually pull other people from Hollywood, maybe, to come in and do dubs from time to time.
That could be pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't think that they're gonna outright get rid of the people that they use constantly for their dubs, because they have a good team. They have a team that works together, and they get their product out on time and with a really high degree of quality. So I'd be really surprised if you saw a huge shakeup in that area. You might see a few people kind of go away, some ADR directors or some Foley producers, and they might be replaced by people from Sony. I don't think the voice talent is really going to go away. I would like, if they do bring in Hollywood people, I would love to see that from time to time. Not necessarily on every single production, but from time to time, for sure, to have like some unique voices.
Yeah, this could be, again, this could like open the doors for more interesting like outcomes in terms of the actors and such. But
yeah, it could lead to my dream. Christopher Walken in anime.
Oh god.
Just imagine. Perfect. Just literally perfect.
Honestly, I want Ian McKellen in anime. That's what I want.
Ian McKellen. What role would Ian McKellen play in anime?
Ooh. Shit. I don't know, but it needs to be like a side character in season 2 of Bakano. Just put him there.
Oh man, that'd be great though.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, what you need is someone like they need to redub they need to buy the license to Full Metal Alchemist again, and then just redub redub Gluttony with Ian McKellen. That would be perfect. I'd watch that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, sure. Oh shit! I just had a thought of. Oh shit! Oh god, it's escaping me. Oh, where was he? Shit. Oh yeah, they could bring in Andy Serkis.
Oh my god!
I want him in anime.
And it's why?
Because
what role would he play?
Anything. I don't know. He's great in. He played a monkey and he's great. I don't know.
It's true. He did play a monkey and it was pretty good. Oh man, that would be great.
Give Andy Serkis a job, please.
You could do Chris Pratt as as L in Death Note. That'd be pretty good.
That would be so weird.
I'd watch that too. That would be weird, but it'd be good. It'd be it can't be as bad as the Netflix one. I haven't seen that yet, so I don't know. But
wait, when is it? When is that coming out?
At the end of the month, I do believe.
It's probably just going to be like okay, and people will forget about it.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the Funimation deal.
Oh yes, Morgan Freeman is Beetlejuice from Re:Zero. There we go.
Oh, that would be perfect. If only that were a Funimation title.
What was his full name? I keep forgetting.
Petacusa Romanicanti. Des!
There you go.
I would like to see them kind of bring in some new talent in the voice area, but I don't want to see anyone forced out. I mean, some of these people have become really good voice actors over the years, and it was fun to watch them some of them learn their craft throughout these dubs. I certainly don't want anything to happen to Johnny Young Bosch. He's my favorite English dub voice actor.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting to see if they bring some people, some Hollywood people in to do that. It would certainly be nice. It would certainly boost the profile of the anime coming out if you could attach a big Hollywood name to it for sure. Especially if they started doing that with their theatrical releases.
Yeah, you're not
kind of like how Disney does with the Ghibli stuff.
That's right. I keep forgetting that
Ghibli dubs have some. The Ghibli dubs have some really high, potency names on there. Like Patrick Stewart is in the Nazca dub. I mean, really? It doesn't get a whole lot bigger than that.
And Danny voiced the poop emoji.
Oh God, no, just no, nope. Moving on.
Thanks, Sony.
Yeah, thank you, Sony. I don't know. Overall, from the things that I can speculate, I can only crystal ball gaze so much. But from a lot of the stuff that I can kind of see where this is going, I see a lot more positive than I do negative. How about you?
Yeah, again, I mentioned it before. It's so far what we talked about. It's actually pretty positive stuff, and hopefully it all actually works out for the best. Because we all want our anime to be better, and we all want our dubs to be better. And we want Funimation to be better, but a part of me is just kind of skeptical about it, but I guess time will tell what's going to happen. Hopefully it's going to pan out for the best.
I hope. I mean, I hope if not for the industry, then for the fans themselves, because they kind of deserve it at this point. I mean, I said it before, I've waited so long for this to where anime is mainstream acceptance, and it's so close. It is so close, I think.
You reckon Your Name was a big part of... Like maybe
I think it definitely helped. It's like Your Name is something you can show your parents who never watch anime. It really
actually did that.
You did that?
Yeah, my mom stuck with it till the end, and when we finished the movie, she was like, "That was a weird movie." Okay. I was like, "Yeah, it is pretty weird."
But you felt comfortable showing your parents that movie.
Yeah.
Would you feel just as comfortable showing your parents Monster Musume?
I wouldn't be comfortable showing myself Monster Musume, no.
I don't blame you.
Fucking bird hentai, what? It's like, oh, okay. Sure.
Just gouge out your eyes. I've crystal ball gazed about as much as I can. I mean, time will tell whether this is a positive or a negative thing. I hope if it turns out to be a negative thing, Sony will do the right thing and kind of give more control to Funimation because they knew what they were doing before, especially on the distribution side.
Or not.
And dubbing. I hope that it leads to greater availability, at least digitally, for its content. And I just hope that it ends up being a positive move for the industry. And who knows, kind of like with the Netflix getting into anime, maybe Funimation will become like a production studio partner.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good at Desu.
It's great.
It's been so long since I used that phrase. I need that. It gives me life.
Maybe they'll fucking work with David Productions on making a fucking part 5.
Oh yeah, Sakura Reset is about to end. I should catch up on that piece of garbage.
Why? Just why?
Just to.
Why are you making David Production think they're actually doing a good job?
Oh, I'm not. I'm giving them shit for all of this. For wasting my time on fucking autistic girls who don't know if they want to buy ice cream for their dumb friends. This show gets me so riled up. It's like Future Diary all over again. Fuck.
I'm kind of glad I'm not watching it, to be honest.
Yeah, don't. The only good thing I have to say about that show is that the first ED is actually really good. At least the song. Because it's the Oral Cigarettes and they make good music.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, do you have anything else you want to say about this deal?
No, I think we covered everything. It's just a matter of staying patient and just being maybe cautiously optimistic. Because this is going to be interesting.
Cautiously optimistic, I think, is the best way to do this. Definitely hope for the best, but don't be surprised if it blows up in our faces.
Maybe a silent voice dub? Maybe?
Maybe.
That's a really good movie. Ugh.
I can't wait to watch it.
You're gonna like it. You're gonna like it.
I probably will. Based on what everyone else has told me, I probably will.
I'm not gonna lie, because it's the same director of K-On!, so maybe I'm actually going to enjoy K-On! Whenever I get to it.
You should watch K-On! And tell me that... Let me tell you something. If you watch K-On! And you say, this show sucks, I will tell you that you might actually be gay. Because it means you don't like cute girls.
I mean, sure, I guess. I mean... I watch JoJo with a passion, so I don't know how I'm not gay yet, but sure.
Let me tell you something. When you should fucking read part 5 so we can talk about it. But when you finally see part 5, you will know what gay is. And on that note, I think that's actually a really good place to end this.
Yeah,
right,
that was a short episode. Do you want to go through quickly stuff you've been watching or being intrigued by for the coming season?
I don't think you want me to do that because I haven't been watching much because I've been moving.
Oh, okay. I've only been watching Yuri on Ice, so as you can tell from my intro. But
yes,
it's a good show that people should check out for its good moments, for all of its rough edges. That's all I'm gonna say about it.
It's very gay, and I love it.
Yeah. It's, okay, I'm not gonna get into it, but it's okay. It's a good show. Good opening as well.
Listen. Just watch it and know that you, Natai, were born to make history. And on that note, I'm ending the show because I have had one too many bad puns already. So, thank you all out there for dropping in to listen to this. We hope you enjoyed it because we definitely enjoy bringing it to you as we do every single episode. If you want to check out previous episodes of the podcast, you can find this on SoundCloud and iTunes. If you want to keep up with what we're doing and have a little fun in the process, you can join our Facebook group, you can follow our Twitch channel, or you could visit our website. Kind of like that's where we do the Best Boy and Best Girl at the end of every season.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have any questions, comments, criticisms, concerns on this or any episode, feel free to shoot us an email. You can find links to all of these things down below in the description.
Please do. So, we always enjoy reading email.
Exactly. So thank you, Natai, for joining. It's been a while since you've been on.
Yeah, it's been fun. I always like coming back here. It's just a lot of fun coming back and talking shit about anime. Especially Sakura Reset. Fuck that show.
Oh, God. Well, you're not talking shit about anime. You're talking about shitty anime.
Yeah, maybe I'm just, my taste is just being shit lately. I don't know.
We figured this out a couple episodes ago. All of our tastes are shit. It's just to what degree.
Yeah, I still haven't seen Eromanga Sensei, so maybe I can still be saved.
Don't. Just don't. Anyway, I stop. No. As always, I have been your host, Alex, and I will see you next time. Say goodnight, Natai.
Praise JJ!
It's JJ style.
JJ style. Good night, everyone.